You ask your child to put on their shoes, grab their backpack, and meet you at the door. 30 seconds later, they're standing in the hallway, one shoe on, staring into space. The backpack? Still on the floor. They look at you genuinely confused and ask, "What was I supposed to do again?" If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And here's what matters most. Your child isn't being defiant. They're not trying to make your morning harder. Their brain simply let go of the information before they could use it. Today, we're going to talk about why this happens, what's really going on in your child's mind, and most importantly, how to help them hold on to information long enough to actually use it. The real problem isn't memory. Let me tell you about Emma. She's 7 years old, and her mother described her as the child who forgets everything. But here's the interesting part. Emma could recite every detail about her favorite movie. She remembered her friend's birthday from 6 months ago. She could tell you exactly what happened at recess last Tuesday. So Emma didn't have a memory problem. She had a working memory problem. And there's a crucial difference. Memory is like a massive library in your brain where information gets stored long-term. Working memory is more like your hands. It's what you're holding right now, which you're actively using in this moment. And just like your hands, it has limited space. When you give your child multi-step instructions, you're essentially asking them to juggle. Most adults can hold about 4 pieces of information in working memory at once. Most children, 2 to 3 pieces, sometimes less. Their working memory is still developing, and it won't fully mature until their mid-20s. So when you say shoes, backpack, door, your child's working memory grabs shoes. By the time they find their shoes, backpack has already slipped away. It's not stored anywhere, it's just gone. What happens in the brain? Picture working memory as a small spotlight in a dark room. That spotlight can only illuminate a tiny area at a time. Everything outside that beam, it fades into darkness. Your child's spotlight is even smaller than yours, and there are things constantly competing for that limited beam of light. The toy on the floor, the dog walking by, the random thought about what's for lunch. Each distraction pulls the spotlight away, and when it moves,
There's also
the
something
instruction
called the
is
phonological loop. This is the voice in your head that repeats information to keep it active. Adults do this automatically. Someone tells you a phone number and you repeat it silently until you can write it down. Children are still learning to do this. They don't naturally rehearse information, so it decays within seconds. And when emotions are involved, working memory gets even smaller. If your child is anxious about being late, excited about a play date later, or frustrated about something that happened at breakfast, their working memory shrinks. The emotional brain takes up space, leaving even less room for instructions. This is why your child can forget what you just said, but remember the time you promised ice cream 2 weeks ago. Ice cream had emotion attached. Put on your shoes doesn't. The real-life impact. Let's be honest about what this looks like day to day. It's not just frustrating for you, it's hard for your child too. They see the disappointment on your face. They hear the edge in your voice when you have to repeat yourself. They start to internalize a story that they're forgetful, careless, or not trying hard enough. But they are trying. Their brain just isn't set up yet to do what you're asking. I spoke with a father recently who told me about his 9-year-old son. Every night, the routine was the same. Brush teeth, put on pajamas, put dirty clothes in the hamper. And every night, the son would brush his teeth and then wander into his parents' room, pajamas still in the drawer, dirty clothes still on the floor. The father would get frustrated. The son would feel like a failure. The evening would end in tension. Until the father understood what was actually happening. His son wasn't ignoring him. His son's working memory was dropping the later steps while he was focused on the first one. Once he understood this, everything changed. Not because his son suddenly remembered better, but because he stopped taking it personally and started working with his son's brain instead of against it. So what do? You work with the limitation instead of fighting it. First, reduce the load. Instead of 3 instructions, give 1. Wait for your child to complete it, then give the next one. Yes, this takes more time initially, but it actually saves time because you're not repeating yourself or redirecting your child back to the task. One instruction, one completion.
Make instructions visible. Working memory is auditory and invisible. The moment you stop speaking, the information can vanish. But if you write it down, draw a simple picture, or use physical objects as reminders, you've moved the information out of your child's limited working memory and into the external world. For young children, this might be picture charts. For older kids, it might be a whiteboard in their room. The key is that they can look at it and reload the information without relying on their working memory alone. Third, teach them to talk to themselves. Remember that phonological loop? You can help your child build this skill. When you give an instruction, ask them to repeat it back to you. Then encourage them to say it quietly to themselves as they do it. Shoes, backpack, door. Shoes, backpack, door. This verbal rehearsal keeps the information active in working memory. Fourth, use routines and patterns. Working memory is expensive for the brain. Routines are cheap. When something becomes a habit, it moves out of working memory entirely and into automatic processing. Your child doesn't have to remember to brush their teeth after putting on pajamas if it's always been that way. The routine carries them through. Build consistent sequences, same order, same time, same place. It takes a few weeks, but once it's established, you've freed up your child's working memory for other things. And finally, reduce distractions. This one is hard because our homes are full of distractions, but when you need your child to remember something, help them succeed by minimizing what's competing for that spotlight. Turn off the TV, put the tablet away, make eye contact. Create a clear, calm moment where the instruction has a fighting chance. The bigger picture. Here's what I want you to remember. Your child's working memory will grow. The prefrontal cortex, which manages working memory, continues developing well into young adulthood. Your 7-year-old will not have the same struggles at 17. But how you respond now matters. If your child grows up believing they're forgetful or careless, that story sticks. If instead they grow up with strategies that work, with a parent who understood their brain and helped them work with it, that changes everything. You're not just helping them remember to put on their shoes, you're teaching them how to work with their own mind. You're showing them that when something is hard, you look for strategies, not shame. So the next time your child forgets what you just said, take a breath. Remember the spotlight. Remember the juggling, and remember that their brain is doing exactly what it's developmentally designed to do. Then give them one instruction, wait, and watch them succeed. Because they can. They just need you to meet them where their working memory actually is, not where you wish it would be. And that's not lowering your expectations. That's understanding how learning actually works.